Okay, dear students, in today's session, we are going to discuss about primary key constraint. In previous video, we discussed about not null constraint and unique constraint. By implementing a not null constraint on a column, we are going to restrict blank values to enter into the particular column. And similarly, if we implement a unique key constraint, then it will not accept duplicate values. Suppose if I want to implement a not null constraint and also unique constraint for a single column, then instead of defining a not null constraint and a unique constraint for the same column, I can use primary key constraint. Primary key constraint is the combination of not null constraint and unique constraint, we can say, because when we are implementing a primary key constraint on a column, it will not accept null values, and also it is going to accept only unique values in that particular column. Assume that I'm going to create a table called as a supplier here. Supplier ID is the column name, supplier name, and contact name. Here, if you observe, I want to define supplier ID as a primary key constraint here, because if we are inserting a record for a supplier, then supplier ID is a must, and also it must be a unique one. So now for supplier ID column, I want to implement a primary key constraint now. And if you observe, I'm going to implement a not null constraint for supplier name, as you can see, because the supplier name cannot be a blank. I must insert certain value in supplier name field. And as usual, I'm not going to include any constraint for contact name. And now how to define primary key constraint for supplier ID. Now I'm going to use a table level constraint definition to define supplier ID as a primary key. So now how to define table level constraint? So we have to use a constraint keyword. After specifying the constraint keyword, we have to specify the name for the constraint. In this case, I'm going to include constraint name as supplier underscore pk. That is indicating what? The primary key for supplier table. So first we need to specify what? Constraint keyword. As you can see here, I'm going to implement a constraint keyword. And after this keyword, we need to specify name for the constraint. And after specifying the name for the constraint, then we have to use a primary key keyword. We have to use these two keywords. Look at this. There is a space between primary and key. After using this keyword, primary key, in front of this, we need to specify the column name. This column name should be available here. Any one of the columns which are present in this particular table, I can define it as a primary key. In this case, I'm going to define supplier ID as a primary key here. So that's why I'm going to mention the column name as supplier ID within a parenthesis. You can observe here, I'm going to use a parenthesis to mention the column as a primary key. I cannot define supplier name as a primary key because multiple supplier may have same names. And even for contact name also, I cannot define primary key because even contact name should have similar names. So, but the supplier ID, which must be a unique one, and also it must not accept null values. So for that purpose, I'm going to implement a primary key constraint for supplier ID here. So this is how we are going to define a table level constraint. I repeat once again, to define a table level constraint, we have to use a constraint keyword. After specifying the constraint keyword, we have to specify name for the constraint. After this, we have to use the primary key keywords. And in front of this, within a parenthesis, we need to specify the column name, which column I want to make it as a primary key. So in this case, I'm going to mention supplier ID. Assume that if I'm defining SID here, instead of a supplier ID, if I'm mentioning SID, then here we need to define SID only. So the column name should match here. That is very important. So after defining a table level constraint, now I'm going to close the definition by using a closing parenthesis, and I'm going to terminate the statement by using a semicolon. So this is how we can define a table level constraint. So this method is known as defining at table level. The same can be implemented by using a column level also. So let me show you how we can define column level constraint. So this is how we are going to define column level. So you can observe here, create table supplier, everything remains constant here. But instead of closing the column definition supplier ID, in front of this only I'm going to use the keywords I'm going to use the keywords primary key here. That means what? I'm going to define supplier ID with the data type number, and I'm going to specify the size as a 10, and I'm going to define this column as a primary key by using the keywords primary key. So it is similar to that how we are going to define a not null constraint. In a similar fashion, we have defined a column level constraint for supplier ID. So this will what happen? It will create a table structure like this. In this case, we have three columns like a supplier ID, supplier name, and contact name. So while inserting the first record, we will not face any difficulty here, because as we are having a not null value for supplier ID, and also we are having a unique value for this. So it meets the requirement of a primary key here. ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಡೂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂನ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ null values ನ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಅದೇನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ accept value for supplier ID. And for supplier name, we have implemented not null here. So that's why, is it a not null value? Yes, of course. It is not a null value. Other than null values, we are trying to store some value here. So it will accept. And also for contact name, we have not implemented any constraints here. So that's why it will accept the first record. If we try to insert the second record here, you can observe we are trying to store 0, 1 here, which is nothing but a duplicate value. Already this value is present in first record here. So what is the meaning of a primary key? So primary key is nothing but the combination of not null and unique. So in this case, it is not accepting a unique value because it is accepting duplicate value here. We are trying to store 0, 1, which is repeating here. So in this case, it will not accept this kind of a value. So the second record will not insert in this case. So SQL compiler will generate error saying that unique constraint violated. So if we observe the third record here, again we are storing a 03 as a value, which is unique because 03 is not present earlier. We have not inserted a 03 in supplier ID, so it will accept, and also it is a not null value. and also for supplier name we are storing a not null value here, and it will insert this particular record. But if we observe the fourth record here, we are trying to store null value here. So you can observe this value is blank. So that is indicating what? Null. But primary key, what it says, it is nothing but the combination of a not null and unique. But here what we are storing? Null we are storing. So it will not accept this record also. So this is how the primary key constraint is going to work. So first record it will insert, but not the second record, because we are trying to store duplicate value here. Again, third record will insert, because as we are not storing duplicate value and also we are not storing null values here. So that's why third record also it will accept. But when it comes with a fourth record, you can observe here we are trying to store null value in supplier ID. So that's why it will not accept fourth record. So this is how the primary key constraint is going to restrict the entries while inserting a record into the table. Let us see the demonstration now. Let me quickly open the Oracle. Let me create supplier table here. So create table supplier, press enter, open parenthesis, and after this let me specify SID now. Try to observe, I am going to specify column name as SID, and I want to store a numeric value here. So data type I am going to define is number, and I am going to specify size as 3. Let me define it as a primary key so that SID cannot accept null values and SID cannot accept duplicate values. So that's why I'm going to define a primary key constraint for SID and name for supplier name. Let me define it as a varchar with size 30, and it should not accept null values. For that I'm going to implement a not null constraint for name. And the last one, that is contact. Again let me define it as a varchar with a 30 size. I'm not going to define any constraint for contact, and this is the last column, so I'm not going to include comma here. And let me close the table definition and close the statement by using semicolon. So now if you observe here, I have written statement like this: create table keywords, create table name. Table name is what? Supplier. It will create a supplier table. Give a open parenthesis. Within this first column definition, that is SID. SID is the column name, number is the data type with size 3, and I'm going to define this one as a primary key. Already you know what is the use of a primary key. It will not accept null values and it will not accept duplicate values. After this, I'm going to specify one more column definition, that is name, which is indicating supplier name. Varchar is the data type and 30 is the size. And I don't want to include null values in name column, but it can be duplicate. Supplier name can repeat, but I don't want to leave a blank space in supplier name. So that's why I'm going to include not null constraint for supplier name. And I want to define one more column, that is contact. The data type I'm going to define is varchar and 30 is the size for this. After this, I'm going to close the statement by using a closing parenthesis and semicolon. That's it. So now, if I execute this particular statement, then compiler started executing and it has created the table. As you can see, it is displaying a message saying that table created. That means what? We have successfully created what? A table structure. Now let me try to insert the value here. Assume that I'm going to insert a value, first record into supplier table. So for that, I'm going to execute the statement now, insert into supplier. After this, let me specify the column names, SID, SName, contact. For these columns, I'm going to include the values now. So for that values keyword, we have to use, open the parenthesis, first SID. So again, SID is accepting number, so no need to include what single quotations. Directly I can specify value like 100, put a comma, because next I want to insert a supplier name. Assume that I'm going to include a Sneha Agencies, close the parenthesis, put a comma. Again, I want to include one more contact details. Assume that I'm going to store Gangadhar, close the parenthesis and semicolon. If you look into this query, insert into are the keywords, insert into supplier is the table name, and for these columns I'm going to insert the values. If you remember, these are the column names, SID, SName, contact, SID, SName, contact, which we have already created here. And in front of this, we have to use a values keyword, and in which order we have specified the column names. In the same order, we have to pass the values. You can observe here, first I'm going to mention SID. So in the values section, I'm going to pass SID first here. And again, I'm going to mention supplier name next. So here I'm going to pass supplier name. And at last, I'm going to mention contact. So here I'm going to pass the contact value. In the same order, we can specify the values. Assume that I'm going to specify the column name like this. Say for example, SID I'm going to mention here, and after this I'm going to mention contact, and after this I'm going to mention what? SName. If I'm going to define column order like this, then I should pass values like this also. 100, comma, after this I'm going to specify the contact here. So here I need to specify contact as Gangadhar. After this put a comma. So now we need to specify what? Supplier name. So in front of this I can specify supplier name like Sneha Agencies and close the parenthesis. So in this manner we should pass the values. And also please try to remember that while passing these values, if you observe, when we are inserting a values for character data types and varchar data types and date data types, if you remember, these are the data types. For columns, we are going to mention data types here. You can observe here, SID number, SName varchar, contact varchar. So that means what? What type of a value a column can hold. So while defining the column names, we are going to mention these data types. And for these data types columns, we should pass values within a single quotation. We should pass the values within single quotations. So this is compulsory. Whenever we are passing the values for character, varchar and date related columns, then we have to mention the values within a single quotation. You can observe here, Sneha Agencies and Gangadhar, these are the values I am passing for SName and contact name. And you can observe here, for SName I have mentioned varchar, and also for contact I have mentioned varchar here. So that's why I'm going to specify the value within a single quotation. You can observe, this is the single quotation, how we are going to mention single quotations. And if you observe, for SID I'm going to mention number here, and I'm not going to pass the values within a single quotation. If you pass within a single quotation, it will accept, no issues. But we can omit single quotations while passing the values for number. So for numbers, I can directly pass values like this. Without using a single quotation, I can directly pass value. Okay, like directly I can mention 100, 85.64. Likewise, we can directly pass the values for numeric. So this is how we are going to pass the values. Okay. So now what we have written, we have written the statement to insert a record into table. So now let me execute this statement. So one row successfully created. It is showing a message, one row created. Okay. So now let us see the record now. For that, I have to execute one more statement, select star from supplier. Now it is showing the record, first record which has been inserted here. You can see this is the first record. Now let me insert one more record for supplier. Again, let me copy the insert into statement here. Now what I will do, I'm going to insert a supplier ID as 100 once again. And let me provide the supplier name. Ajay Enterprises. And the contact name is Ajay. Okay. So now if you observe this particular statement, already we have stored SID here as 100. Again, while inserting a next record, I am trying to store 100 as a value for SID, which is nothing but I am trying to insert duplicate value. But what we have mentioned, we have used SID as a primary key here. That means what? It should not accept null values and it should not accept duplicate values. But here I am trying to insert a duplicate value once again. So in this case, it should generate error here. So let us see what happens. If I execute this statement, obviously we should get error saying that unique constraint violated. As you can see here, unique constraint violated. It is saying that. That means what? I'm not inserting a unique value for SID column because SID has been defined as a primary key. I must insert unique values. Instead of 100, suppose if I try to store 101, it will accept because there is no 101 value inserted in the SID column here. Okay, so let me insert 101 now. Let me copy the same above statement, but here I'm going to mention 101 now. So after this, let me specify the same values. Now, if you observe here, I'm going to include 101 as a value in the SID column here. So now let me execute this statement. Let us see whether it is going to insert this record or what. Yes. So it has inserted the second record. As you can see here, one row created message. That means what? It has inserted Ajay's record here with the SID 101. Let me display the table content. Select star from supplier. So now you can observe here it is showing two records right now. So this 100 was the previous record first we have inserted, and this 101 record is recently what we have inserted for Ajay. So this is how it will accept unique values. If we try to insert duplicate values, it will generate error. As you can see here, it is going to generate error. Similarly, I cannot leave blank values for SID because SID I have defined as a primary key. Suppose I'm going to insert values for only S name and contact. Assume that now I'm going to exclude SID value So directly what I will do, I'm going to insert a value for yes name and a contact name. That's it. So now I'm going to mention the values. Assume that Amar Enterprises and contact name is Amar. Okay. So if you observe now, I'm trying to insert the next record by skipping the value for SID. That means what? I'm trying to store null in this SID position. Okay, but for rest of the S name and contact name, I'm going to mention the values as Amar Enterprises and Amar here. So in this case, let me see whether it is going to include this record or what. Let me execute this. Obviously, we should get error because we have defined SID as a primary key here. So that's why it is showing a message saying that cannot insert null. As you can see here, there is error at line number 1 saying that cannot insert null into semify is the username, supplier is the table name, and SID is the column. For this column, I cannot insert null, it is saying. Why? Because we have defined SID as a primary key. So this is how we can implement a primary key constraint. Whenever we implement a primary key constraint for a column, that column will not accept null values, and also it will not accept duplicate values. So this is the use of a primary key constraint. Hope you have understood.